Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the Swamp Talk podcast with Swamp Dog and friends. Tonight we got a good show for you with some nice guests, and without further ado, here we go. And we're back at it. Tonight we got CMMG Mike.
What's up, guys?
We got Nightstryke Mike, another double episode guest.
Yep.
And then Bob of Pew-tang fame.
Hi, can I change my name to Mike too, just for tonight? Somebody
No,
get in there and edit that thing.
Let's go for it.
We just need to call you Bob because I just called you Bob the other day and just like, what? No, Bob is awesome. It's like, it's just Bob. I didn't get to meet Jordan. I didn't get to meet Jordan, but it's just Bob.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it is just
everybody
Bob.
was up in arms about me saying it was just Bob. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Hey, if you guys didn't know, two-time Makers Match champ Matt Abrams is in the chat. Shout out to.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. If you didn't know, when you see that name pass by in the chat, if he's in here, the champ is here.
That is awesome.
Anyway.
Yeah, I was just about to give out them shout outs for the folks that's actually the early birds in here. We got Matt Abrams, and we got Toy Town was in here first. We got Dark out there and Flying Rich.
Yeah.
And then, of course, show sponsor, Aegis. He's saying it's Bob.
It's Bob. See, I told you it's Bob.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Aegis.
So yeah, how y'all doing this evening?
Doing good.
Amazing.
That's definitely good.
Any better, I'd have to be Mike. That's right. I would be Mike. I'm not going to say which one.
No, you don't want to pick.
Well, everything's better than Mike or as Mike, I guess.
Right.
At least we figured out the double mic problem too, though.
Yeah.
It's not a technical glitch. It's a glitch in mics.
Yeah. That was a headache I wasn't ready for.
Yeah, because we the last time I was on Swamp's podcast, it was like there were double mic guests, and I said that when we started earlier, I said, hey, you got double mics again, and he's looking at his microphone. It's like, what the hell's going on with my microphone? I'm like, I mean your guest, not
Yeah.
not your equipment, and everybody just started laughing.
What's up, Rich? I see a DLD After Dark on here too. Yeah, I just did a podcast with Black Diamond Guns of your guys while we were down in Greenville.
Yep, Rich is out there. He's crashing.
There, yeah. The Joshes and crew is going to be coming on the show here as soon as we can rearrange the schedules,
right,
to line them up.
I'm pretty sure those guys stuck one of those wireless microphones on me and made me talk down at the gathering. The binary trigger with JSD supply. I can't remember if I did. Jordan asked me when we got back, how'd it go? I was like, 3 different people clipped microphones to me, at least that I remember. And one of them I did pretty good, and the other one I didn't. And one of them I forgot as soon as it was over. So good luck. I hope that all makes it on the internet and you look like shit because I can't talk good.
There you go. Yeah, and on that note, I guess we'll kick it off to you to start things off. Tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about some of the stuff from the gathering, and your booth over there with JSD was one of the first spots I had to get to check out y'all's new trigger y'all was showing off. And you can, I guess, start off there telling the folks about that, and then, let them know who you are and where to find you and all that.
They don't want to hear about that. Yeah, maybe they do. I don't know, man. I wish
they want
I
to hear
got
about
this. I wish I'd gotten to see more at the gathering. Honestly, you said we were going to talk about the gathering, and I completely forgot that I was standing at that table. It felt
time.
like I've never worked at an amusement park, but as the second day went on, right? So we started on Thursday. Media day was pretty tame, but as Friday wore on, and especially Saturday late in the morning, at one point, either Friday or Saturday, I thought, man, this must be what those poor kids, running the Jackrabbit feel like when the 9 millionth, person comes in and is just in a hurry to get through the line and get on there. Everybody seemed to love it, man. I had a great time. I love people. I love showing people new stuff. I think that's what I've done most of my life, and wherever I've been in my career is I've always enjoyed teaching people things, man. But it was intense. And if you didn't know, this binary, or what we might be calling a pull release trigger, we've got like a kind of a cool model naming convention we're going to go with, because this Glock one that's coming out, I hate to say it, but we're pretty sure in 6 to 8 weeks. We've got a lot of the stuff already. So we said summer. We actually may hit that summer release date. This thing is just a ton of fun, but is in the first model in a series that we're going to have, or rather, it's going to be a whole product line. We've got one for the Scorpion almost ready. It almost went to the gathering, but wasn't quite ready to have. What do we end up putting on there? The Dagger has. I put a couple more mags in it today. The Dagger has 3,300 rounds on the same original binary trigger we put in a Palmetto State Armory Dagger frame, because it's a Gen 3. It drops into any Gen 3 or Gen 4. It's got about 3,200 rounds on it. We didn't think the Scorpion binary was quite there. And obviously the 80% P320 product is big for us. So we've already got that in development. We're hoping both of those will be out before the end of this year. But no, it was just crazy, man. I don't know how many people have to shoot. Some people shot one magazine, shot 10 rounds. Some people shot 20. A few folks shot 30 because they were like recording stuff or whatever on media day. So I don't know how many people that is to put a total of 4,000 rounds for the weekend, but over 3,200 went through the Dagger just in that 3.5 day period. I don't know how many people that is, but it was intense, and it was a great time. I loved it. There was only a couple people that didn't like it. And one of them was, he didn't say what LEO was, law enforcement, right? So he shot and he turned around. He said, well, speaking from a law enforcement perspective, I don't know how accurate I can be trying to fire 2 rounds that fast. Like, no, I understand that. That's certainly not what we made it for. But the more I shoot it personally, I'll tell you, I'm getting a hell of a lot better. Yeah. I was talking about this on John Crump Live with Rich earlier. I told everybody, right? All these people walking up and touching it the first time. I was like, if you've ever fired a machine gun, you need to kind of think about it like that. Even though you're not shouldering it, it's going to push on you, if that makes sense. So just brace those arms. Your normal, maybe not relaxed, but casual shooting posture isn't going to keep you on target. But there were a lot of people that kept it not all on the steel, right? The plate was about big. Maybe it was a little larger than that, but not everybody kept it on the steel. But in a big enough circle, you know what I mean? You could have took out 2 or 3 guys down there with that 10 rounds they ripped off real fast.
Yeah. I only got 1 or 2 shots on the steel.
Yeah, and most people didn't seem worried about it. A couple people were like, man, I need a lot of practice with that to get accurate, and you really do. Between the couple models I was testing today, or a couple more I was playing with today, I put another 100 rounds down, and I'm just about there.
There's a funny story.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I met up with one of my friends who works for DC Machine. It's part of the PSA branch, and I was telling him there was a binary trigger he had to try, and he went on for 5 minutes of how he didn't like binary triggers and whatnot. And I'm like, no, come over to your JSD supply, check out this binary trigger. You got to try it. Try it first, and then say you don't like it. And as soon as he stopped shooting it right next to Bob, he turned around and he said, "You're right. I love it. I need one." You remember that, Bob?
Yep. And I wish we'd have had an MCK. If you didn't see I had Jordan put it up, and I put it on my IG as well. It is pretty easy to get those all in a tiny circle if you throw it in something like that. Chucking in a little carbine housing, a brace type situation. It was pretty fun, and it felt a lot more comfortable fluttering the trigger, if that makes sense. You find out where that second brake is. You can really put the gas on.
Oh yeah.
But thanks, Mike.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to mention. It's not so much about the that it's necessarily bad for accuracy as it is. It's a different skill. It takes, getting used to, because you got to change what you've trained with from your regular, pull trigger, especially the way y'all's is set up. But once you get past that little weirdness, there's not much to it as far as actually it don't jump, and it ain't gonna run away from you and stuff like that, like people might think. And again,
Nah,
same thing, how quick you're gonna be is gonna, there's a limit on something that's as small like a pistol. On at distance, there's gonna be a lot more changes as far as where them rounds is gonna be going.
yeah, and I'm not planning on putting one in every single pistol I own either, right? It's going to be dedicated to that.
Yeah.
And it's $200. 199 is we're sticking with that price. We've got just about all the production costs in. So for $200, I'd love to have one that's just a little bit more fun. And I don't know if anybody asked all weekend at the gathering, but you just brought it up and it's worth saying. And still ain't allowed to talk about the actual inner workings, right? I can't show you or tell you exactly the mechanics yet until whoever the attorneys are or legal says.
You gave me the basics, and I just
we've got ourselves all covered. Yeah, and the question nobody asked, and Swampy just brought up, thank you, is that it cannot go fully automatic. I think somebody asked me before we got there, someone else just in casual conversation, but I don't think anybody asked at the gathering. But the way the mechanics work, if the thing that makes it do the thing breaks, it becomes a semi-auto again. So what happens if the thing that we've got designed in there fails, you just go back to having a regular pistol, if that makes sense. Just goes back to giving you one squeeze back here and your normal reset, and then you get another squeeze, if that makes sense.
Which is also nice. Worked out.
Yeah, that doesn't completely die either. That's always I don't know why. I'm always worried. I always look at what's going to fail first on something, if that makes sense. And I didn't design it, but I was really excited when I saw the guts and got to have a conversation with the dudes that actually did the design. So here's what does this, and this thing does this, and if all these pieces, right, these few pieces over here that make it do the thing, if they break, you're left with a regular trigger. So you're not, if that makes sense, I worry about things from a defensive perspective. I'd hate to have a gun that no longer worked at all. If the binary function fails, it still operates just like any other Glock.
There you go. Yeah, well, there's a lot of folks out there that are always afraid of that click. For in reference to not going off when you need it to go off. A dead trigger would have that same type of effect if you was needing something to happen and it ain't working.
Yeah.
But exactly. While we're still talking about the trigger, though, I know you can't go into specifics about how it works and all of that kind of stuff. But I heard you kind of mention about one of the other ones that's recently been unveiled that is more of a complete slide type of deal. You want to go into how yours differentiates from that one?
Yeah, I guess. I like that thing a lot. Don't get me wrong. I haven't got to shoot it. I got to just look at it at SHOT Show in Las Vegas, man. I love the idea. I love that it has what we don't, right? It has a selector switch. So you can turn it back and forth. It can be a regular semi-automatic trigger, or it can be a binary. I think that's cool as hell. It's not for everyone, and I probably won't spend the money on it, man. I'd really like to have one, but it's $900, and I have to use that slide. And I've got enough basic slides, but now most of what I get, right, I end up getting cut, has windows or has red dots on it. I'm not in love with that. I mean, I'm sure they're going to bring out different slides, right, in different sizes. I think the one that they unveiled that's available soon is a 17. But am I gonna? I don't know, man. Am I gonna spend $900 per gun, or even $900 on one? I might on one, but if for $200, right, I can have essentially the same thing, just without the ability to turn it off. Again, that's kind of why we did this. If that makes sense. Wasn't necessarily a stomp on whatever their market is for a $900 slide with a switch on it. That's kind of a dedicated system. Was to have something that a lot more people can afford, that would drop into any Gen 3 or Gen 4. They can use whatever slide, whatever frame they want. And I got to say hi to DLD After Dark. Hi, Dark. Hi, Dark.
Dark's out there.
Dark's out
There you
there.
go. Yeah,
Everybody not
I
catch
was
Dark.
waiting to see
Dark's
if
out
you had
there.
noticed that. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's why I was wanting you to point that out, because like you had mentioned before, it's not something that you're gonna well, you as in general, anybody, you're not gonna be putting a binary trigger period in all your guns. It's not a everyday scenario type of a thing. And so having, different options, depending on what it is, not just price level options, but like you said, you know, you might not want to have this whole dedicated everything system just for one thing.
I mean,
It makes things different being able to, have them options.
Once I get one, I'm not gonna be putting it in my carry gun. I'll probably put it in one gun that I've got just for range purposes, because I wouldn't want to carry that around.
Yeah, and going back to talking about like where you were saying if it has the built-in fail safe to where it just turns into a regular trigger and stuff, and talking about the getting used to it, that was one thing that I can speak to, which I actually haven't shot many other binary triggers, even in ARs and stuff like that, to compare binary to regular, other than handling y'alls. But that was the first things I was thinking of shooting it from that newcomer standpoint, is that it almost kind of feels or gives you the feeling like it's something ain't working right, something, because it breaks that normal method of operations and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think you got the full spiel, but everybody. Well, I was mostly right, and I always am at the range. I think they say anytime you're handling a gun or you're shooting guns, you are your own range safety officer, right? So when I found out I was going out of state to have a bunch of strangers walk up and fire a gun right next to me, I started thinking all the things that could safety wise go wrong, right? So everybody walked up. I said, hey, I know that I just explained to you what this does, that there's going to be a second shot when you release the trigger. I want to remind you, no matter how many times I say that, it is probably going to scare the hell out of you. For sure, the first one is going to surprise you. Make sure you hold on to that gun. And you'd be surprised how many people, just a few, but a handful is too many to me. Many people, I looked at them and said, look, your body may naturally relax, especially if you don't shoot a lot, because you're not expecting a shot on that second, right? You're not expecting a shot when you release. Please make sure you hold on to that gun. And I still had at least 3 that are burned into my memory that almost lost the gun in the second shot. That I didn't see them let go of it, but they fired. And as I knew, right, as I told them, you're going to relax. Your body's natural instinct is to relax just a little bit. Release that trigger, and that second shot went off, and that grip pulled just a little bit out of their hands.
They weren't.
At which point I had to grab a hold of it and
Yeah.
say, are you sure you're ready? I need you to squeeze this harder, because I don't need this thing to flip up and hurt somebody.
Right.
And that's the other thing too, going one thing I did want to mention while you was talking about the safety stuff too, and it kind of goes with any binary trigger system, not just y'all's in particular, but like you were saying, people that ain't used to it, you even like you said, you're not used to it going to be going off when you're letting go in the first place. You got to make sure not just to be holding on to it, but make sure you're keeping that down range, because that's the same as if you was pulling the trigger, because you're going to be firing that gun. It's got to be down range.
Absolutely. Yeah. And another thing people kept asking that I was talking about, just because I remembered it, is they said there's no way to cancel the second shot, and that's absolutely correct. You're getting 2 no matter what. Now, once you get your 2, it's like any other Glock that still has ammunition, if that makes sense. There were people that actually said, well, then there's no way for me to unload it with a magazine in it. Like, well, yes, there is. You're committed to 2, right? You're going to pull, and you're releasing the one's coming off, and now you still have, right, a Glock with a trigger that's set with ammo in it. So you can still take the mag out and rack the slide if you needed it empty right there. Anyway, I think that's all the weird questions that I got that I have stuck in my head. We can talk about something else now. Why don't you let the mics take over?
I was just going to say that was actually the last thing that I was definitely wanting to touch on about that. So that we got that all out the way. I guess we'll just go ahead and go up above you to the other vendor that was there and let you talk about some of the stuff y'all brought. I know there was one thing specific that I had to check out, and I had to be that guy that, he's like, I was checking out the stock. He's like, no, 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 no,
What was that?
You're always that guy.
y'all's rip stock.
Oh,
and I
okay.
was sitting there fiddling with the button. You're like, no, 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 just pull it.
Just pull it.
Well, it's funny because we released the ripstock. I think that was on our 2019 lineup when we did the changeover then, and it's such a simple idea. I don't know how it wasn't thought up before, and it has completely and utterly spoiled me. Because now I'll go into gun shops and I'll pick up an AR off the rack or something like that, and I'll want to see how it feels against my shoulder or whatever. And I immediately go for somebody else's brand and I just try to rip it, and it doesn't work. And I was like, oh, the antiquated method.
I believe we call that the manual method,
right? Well, when you get around using it so much, it's training and stuff. It's second nature. Yeah. It's what I've been doing forever. If that's pretty much all you've handled for the most part in firearms for the past 3 years, 3 years plus, that just gets second nature. I mean, I have older firearms that I've owned, different ARs that I have put that tube on so that I can have a little bit of fun with it. So yes, the 4.6. You guys all got a chance to shoot that, didn't you? Or did you? What all did everybody play with in South Carolina? We had the loud, obnoxious thing that we're up on the hill making sure that everybody knew we were there.
Did you know that another silencer vendor at the other end of the range had an M2 250 240 Bravo set up? Yeah, that was fun. That was real fun. But you can only fire like 3 or 4 shots out of it.
Yeah. Well, we've got those things that we can break out and play with every once in a while. But whenever we go to an event like PSA, but it's also, it's like, that's not our product. So when I'm going to showcase our product, I really wish we had something that was belt fed that I could come out and have a little bit of fun with. But I'll tell you what, the Mark 47 is definitely a crowd pleaser. People think we're ripping off belt fed over there, and we're not.
You mean this?
Yep.
You mean this?
That thing? Yeah,
that thing.
But yeah, the 4.6.
I asked Mike where I could get a patch, and he literally ripped it off of his patch panel he had with him on his notebook and gave this to me. So,
there you go.
Mike, I owe you some patches.
I appreciate that.
And Bob, I owe you some patches too.
But yeah, the 4.6 was specifically what I was referencing to the first thing that I wanted to go over there and check out, and that was actually, I think, the first thing I've tried with y'all's rip stock stock on it.
Well, I'm sorry, one more time. I was reading comments. I'm having difficulty multitasking right now.
Oh, I was just saying, I made sure that I was checking out y'all's 4.6. That was the whole purpose why I went to y'all's booth this time. I didn't even end up shooting the mutant this time.
Yeah, the 4.6. It's I'm glad we're taking that to shows. It's a hot moving little round. It's a very flat shooting round. It's one of those things that people can hear me be the spokesman and really hyping it up and saying, this is what I think of this round. But until you actually get your hands on it and shoot it yourself, you really don't get a good feel for it. And I jokingly say that it is so boring. It's awesome because the felt recoil and everything on it, it is so flat shooting, really pretty much no recoil impulse, but you are delivering a, pretty good like defense round downrange. But it's just, even slapping that thing on a full auto lower, because it's on a standard AR, lower for the configuration. So slap that thing on a registered lower and it'll cook off some rounds pretty good. And I mean, like a 2/3 IDPA size target, I mean, you could hold the entire 40 round magazine in the head. So I mean, it just doesn't move.
Yeah, that was one thing that's really surprised me, and that was actually one of the first times my personal experience of something that you hear so much about, and then you actually get it in your hands, and it's almost like more than what you was hearing about, like where you was talking about hyping it up and all that, so flat shooting and soft and all that. Like you said, it's one thing to say it, but when you're literally experiencing that,
Yep.
it's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, it's a unique creature. It's kind of like the radio delay blowback. I mean, when we released that and we got it in 9mm, I mean, my thing is I travel around the country and go to show after show after show, and I'm always like letting people demo things, and I'm always, letting them rip off some full auto or what have you. I mean, my job definitely doesn't suck. It's a very fun job to have. And I've been singing the praises of the radio delay blowback in 9mm for quite some time. And I finally built my own. And I actually like took it to a training course and ran it through its paces. And I fell in love with it all over again, because now instead of just doing I hate to sound this way, but instead of just trying to do the salesman hype and pitch and everything like that, right, I was running my own and putting it through the paces that somebody should put it through. And I was like, it was a whole new appreciation for the system.
Yeah, that's totally understandable though.
But then, of course, we have the Mark 47 that we like to bring out and just be obnoxious with. So
it's almost like a milestone thing that any event that y'all are at, like everybody like expects to, even if you don't even go to y'all's booth, you expect to, feel that somewhere.
We're not allowed to call it this, but this is what it is.
You guys can do it all you want. I'm so happy for you guys too. It's just, I'm
not. I don't get why you just didn't call it the MTNT and not just call it not call it the Mutant, just call it the MTNT.
We totally thought about that,
and just go with the turtle shell. Just because honestly, that would have been great.
Yeah, we totally thought about it, but then there's the whole I know Gun Doctor and 10mm Tuesday.
Yeah,
it's Thursday, so what are we doing today? So I'm seeing a question asking why we can't call it the Mike. What is it?
The MK47.
No, what do you call it?
The Mutant.
So, long story short, there is another action out there that exists that got trademarked with that name prior to us realizing it. So we gotta, hey, please quit calling it that, and we quit calling it that. So
it's a more in-depth story, but it was ridiculously stupid because everybody's looked up the guy after that, and we don't even know how many rifles he's actually sold.
Yeah, go to your web browser of choice and type in that word and firearm, and see if you can find anything talking about anything other than the Mark 47 for the first 40 pages. You probably won't, unless you actually look up like trademark or something like that. So
I give up. That's what I was just doing. Did you know that's what I was doing? I was only on page 3.
Was it?
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like you kind of froze over here. You kind of gone eyeless over there.
Yeah,
that's good. My internet probably sucks. I gotta figure something else out for next time.
Yeah, so that's a long story short, but we've kind of became our I don't know, it's kind of a double-edged sword, or we've become our own worst enemy when it comes to events now, because we just released the entire 2022 lineup change. So we have all new furniture, all new colors, new accessories, all that stuff. We have a lot of really cool stuff on our guns, but people don't care. They want to shoot the Mark 47. That's like I don't care what you have, what the new cool hotness is. I just want to shoot the thing that I heard from way the hell down there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
And
what
if we
happened.
don't take it, people will be mad.
You know, I
Yep.
did want to mention something. Swampy, did you go to Century's booth?
I don't think I did.
Well, they were right beside us.
They were right beside them, but they were only there. What what is it? Friday and
They were
Thursday
there.
and Friday.
They were there Thursday and Friday.
They weren't there Saturday or Sunday.
Well,
As I was gonna say, I was only there Thursday anyway. So,
well, truth be told, we had never done this event. We didn't know what to expect. Through the rumor mill, we heard subpar stories, so we were kind of like, we need to try it for ourselves and see what we think.
Mm-hmm.
So we showed up and we did Thursday for the media day, and we were just going to be there for Friday and just kind of get a feel for it, at least on the range. And then we were going to be in the vendor village on Saturday and Sunday, just to at least be able to talk to people. And well, Thursday was kind of quiet. If you're talking round counts, Thursday we put 1,000 rounds through the Mark 47.
Yeah.
Friday it was still kind of quiet, but there was threatening rain, and we actually closed up early.
We had to close early that day. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we only put 1,000 rounds through the Mark 47 on Friday, but the guys from PSA were like, guys, we're not going to charge you any extra if you want to be on the range for the rest of the weekend or till you're out of ammo or whatever it is. So if you guys want to be on the range tomorrow, cool. And we're like, yeah, we got plenty of ammo left. Let's do it. The range seems to be where it's at anyway versus the vendor village. So we show up on Saturday morning, and man, that's what I live for, was the way the attendance was on Saturday. I mean,
yeah,
we had a line all day. We had 4,000 rounds left for the Mark 47. The event started at 10. We were out of ammo at 1:15. And I was in a scramble to try to find more ammo. I ended up acquiring a couple more cases of ammo at current prices versus, my stash at home. And so by 3:30, we were back up and running with the Mark 47 again, and we were out of ammo by the time it closed at 5. So on Saturday, with like a 2-hour and 15-minute break in the middle of the day, we still ran 6,000 rounds through that gun.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
That baby's a beast.
I love shooting that one. That was just like that, and the full auto Visca from Century and the 240 Bravo were like my favorite guns, because I went and shot the full auto Tavor that IWI brought, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't like that at all. I didn't like it one bit. I'm not a bullpup fan.
Shout out to Crumpy out there in the chat now.
Yeah, I just saw that. I was like, I get his reference too. So,
there you go. Yeah, I saw
that Mark 47 y'all brought there. Is that the second iteration of the demo one, or how many of y'all burned through now?
That's the second. So we actually brought twins to South Carolina. So we have what I affectionately over the years have called the Beast, which was the Mark 47 that I had taken to pretty much every event since we offered a 10-inch barrel in 2015. So, whether it was like the NFA Review Channel event or Iraq Vet or SHOT Show or whatever the event was, I've taken, and along with some shoots that we've hosted, on our own property. And that gun just had so many rounds run through it. We estimate it was north of 200,000 rounds that we had through that gun before we finally retired it. It was still original upper, lower, bolt carrier, bolt, and barrel, and gas system. Like, obviously we've replaced things that are going to wear in that kind of time frame. So we've replaced ejectors, extractors, hammer trigger pins, springs, some smaller things, but for the most part, from the word go, that was the same gun. If you took a bore scope
yet?
Well, if you look down it, you could still see rifling, but it was definitely not engaging anything. That was for sure. I mean, because you figure most all that abuse was all full auto steel case crap. We don't clean it good at all. Like, that was one of my fun things I was doing on Saturday in South Carolina, was like, people would watch us literally take brake cleaner to the gun, shake it free, spray just a crap load of oil on it, and throw it back together and keep running. And I would jokingly turn to like the people in line and be like, "That is not the manufacturer's recommended way to clean the gun."
I'm surprised.
Yeah, or dunking it in the cooler full of water.
Yeah, there's a
I've
few,
heard about that.
There were a few people that were a little upset that we didn't bring the cooler to South Carolina. I've taken that thing to every Iraq vet event since I'm not sure when, but it has kind of become its own character at the Iraq vet thing. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to have that be.
How many stickers y'all got slapped on it now?
Not enough. So anybody that comes to the Iraq vet event this year, anybody, our friends here that might be invited, if you have stickers, bring them to Iraq vet in October. It's the 10-year anniversary. They just announced it.
Where are they holding it?
It is in Northeast Georgia.
Northeastern.
So they'll hopefully be they've already pinged the vendors, and hopefully they'll be coming out with an attendee list. Unfortunately, I can't be inviting people for them. But if you get a chance to come to that, bring a sticker, slap it on the cooler. I'm actually thinking about making like an Instagram page for that cooler, just because it's it's put out a fire at the Iraq vet event. It has been there to quench the Mark 47 when it gets so hot that people can't touch it.
I can see the Instagram account now, the CMMG cooler.
Well, I mean, we had that
right there.
That might be all it needs.
That's all it needs.
It needs to have a life
in other places. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, I got to see if I can't find it here. This is
that reminds me. Do y'all remember from like it's been quite a few years back now? But like, I want to say someone like stole like a lawn gnome or something, and then all of a sudden just started posting pictures of it all over the place.
Yeah. Going places. Yeah.
Well, but it ended up coming back to its owners. Like it went on like a really good trip, and they returned it.
Well, there was also that what was it, that travel commercial where a garden gnome was the spokesman for the longest time.
Yep.
Remember that? Yeah.
Wasn't that Travelocity started?
I think that was.
Yeah, I think it was. That's actually where my brain was going.
Travelocity gnome. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see this or not.
We can see that.
So this was made from part of the video when one of our employees took that cooler and took off downrange with it to put out a fire because somebody had set off some. I think there was a tracer round that went off, and the berm was a little dry, and it immediately caught fire. And I think it may have been Social Regressive. I can't remember who it was that made a video that was like the old Bud Light, Real American Hero. You're like Mr. Running, Mr. Running down the Heroes. Yeah, they had like the Mr. Running down the range with the cooler guy or whatever it was. It was funny.
Yeah.
So
there was Real American Heroes, and then Bud Light presents Real Men
there you go.
of Genius.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a Real Men of Genius.
Real Men of Genius, and then there was Real American Heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but real quick, I'm fixing to be jumping in the car, so being audio only. But I wanted to do a quick shout out to my buddy Safety Doc out there in the chat. He's got his new book coming out tomorrow. Check it out on Amazon. The Velocity of Information: Human Thinking During Chaotic Times. Ooh. It'll be releasing on Amazon tomorrow. I wanted to get that shout out there real quick, and it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen for y'all.
Awesome. So I did want to mention when we were at the gathering, firing the Mark 47, or as everybody else calls it, but Mike can't, the mutant. Basically the thing was hot. They didn't give it time to cool down, so they literally made you put on one of those grilling oven mitts. They go up to your arm, go up to here on your arm, just so you could hold the forend, just so you could shoot the gun.
I made that a couple years ago. I literally just ordered a couple black oven mitts
Yeah.
from online, and then my now fiance. So as of this weekend, I'm now engaged.
Yo,
Congrats.
congrats, Mike.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Mike.
But
Congrats.
yeah,
There you go.
thank you. But she made me these little CMMG iron-on logos, and I put them right on those oven mitts. And I'm like, I mean, obviously we're a business and we're out to make money and everything, but we got to have fun, and we are in one of the best industries in the world to just go out and have some fun.
Well,
Yeah.
look at it this way: you guys sell guns, you sell gun parts, you do accessories too. You might as well do merchandise too while you're at it. Because listen, who doesn't want to buy like a CMMG T-shirt, baseball cap, hell, even an oven mitt? You don't know if you don't put it out there, you won't know whether people want it or not.
Well, we have a ton of fun with stuff like that. Like if you guys have seen, I mean, the patch you have was a shirt for Iraq vet. We had a Kool-Aid shirt that we did at Iraq vet. Did you get a shirt at the gathering? We had the dish out the lead.
I got one of them. I don't know if it was dish out the lead or it was the other one. I got one of them, but
okay. But like on our website, we have the CMMG that looks like a Contra logo, from the old Contra video.
I love
game,
that. I love that.
We just we have once the boonies, because I mean we're in Boonville. We're also kind of out in the middle of the boonies, but it's us making fun of the Goonies logo, or not making fun of or paying tribute to it, however you want to look at it. And I feel like I'm talking too much. So
well, and that's another thing. As I said, the T-shirts, that kind of merchandise and whatnot. It's just like that's the one thing I can't get from JSD right now. Bob, get on that. T-shirts.
What?
T-shirts. Put the T-shirts on the website.
I do have to buy more, man, or order more. I am kind of in charge of that, by the way, of all the.
Yeah, that's why I'm yelling at you.
So if they're not flowing, then we know who to blame.
We know who to blame. I will let Jordan know that you're
it's
not.
It's funny because everybody was saying the same thing at the makers match, and Jordan's like, "Yeah, I don't have no shirt."
Yeah, how hard is it to get shirts, get a logo on a T-shirt and put it on your website? I mean, if I can do it for GunTube, it's not that hard.
Okay. It's been a while since what? I don't remember.
I'm sorry, I got to bust your chops a little bit.
I don't remember whose show I used to go on and get work all the time.
Yeah.
Or maybe Jordan would go on shows and I would have to watch, and then I'd end up with like a whole list of shit that I had to do. That was probably like 6 months.
I would say it's probably you or Jordan going on Crump's show. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, it's always more work for me. Nobody's going on any shows anymore. I'm in this crap right now. We don't need to market anything again until the binary comes out anyway. We quit. We give up. We ain't gonna live up to Mike. What I want to say is that that Kool-Aid Man shirt from what was that, last Springs Iraq IV88 is where I got that. That's the first time, and I swear 5 years my wife told me I look good. She said, "I really like you in that color."
Well, I'm glad we were able to get you that shirt so that she could pay you that compliment.
Yeah, appreciate it. I still wear it when I'm feeling frisky.
There you go. Well, see, I'm having a little fun with this one.
Oh yeah.
This is my alter ego, because let's face it, people in YouTube comments are people on the internet. And I can't remember what it was. At one point somebody said something along the lines of, "Oh yeah, if you want this, then CMMG is just gonna wheel out the bearded buffoon and have him talk to you a little bit." I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna embrace that. I was like,
no,
you're trying to insult me, and I am officially embracing.
Don't
identity.
Embrace stuff like that. You know why? Because then that means I have to wear a blue dress.
Well, I mean, I see Shooting Gallery New England's in the house, and there's a few things that he might have to embrace too. So,
well, there's a few things, but he doesn't have any furries or fury or twins, so I don't know.
It was triplets, wasn't it? Holy crap! Did he have those babies and I missed it? Oh
no.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm thinking about.
For the longest time, when they were going on about twins and whatnot, I was saying, no, he's having quintuplets.
Quintuplets, wow.
And everybody just missed my comment every single time, and I'm like, why do I even try?
A little too deep for some people sometimes.
I guess I'm smarter than most people. I don't know.
I'd agree. Probably. You're for sure smarter than me. I just always assume I'm the dumbest person in the room. That's probably why I get along with everybody okay.
No, obviously I'm joking. I'm not smart at all. I'm the same idiot as everybody else.
Hey,
It's
claiming
just,
to be an idiot is my thing. Don't take my thing. It's all I got, man. I can't even order freaking t-shirts. That's all I got is being the idiot. I'll steal that.
Well, I can order t-shirts, so I'm just saying, but because I really wanted a JSD supplies t-shirt. I'll buy it off the website if I have to, but I wanted one. It's just like there's nowhere to get one.
Joe said I need 5X. Is that the max? Is that what I need? 5XL? Anybody else?
I just needed 3X. So.
Okay.
But,
he's taking notes.
I am, and I probably won't ever read them. I got notes up here from earlier.
No.
The main question is, can you read your own handwriting?
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good question, because there's some people that they write stuff down all the time. They stick it up on their computer monitor on the side, and then they're like, "What the hell does that say?"
Well, I mean, Gun Doctor TV's he's floating around in here too. Like, he texted me, I don't know how long ago, and he was asking me a question, and if I don't have the notification on my phone reminding me to go back and check that, I'm at that age where I definitely miss things all the time and forget to reply. That's why I do like email, though, is because you can always at least click it and go, mark as unread, which reminds me, I need to go back and read that again for some reason. So
I do love email. Yeah, I've left text messages unread before for like a week, and that drives me crazy. That stupid little icon. For some reason, text messages unread bothers me. Emails I'm fine with, but I've done it. I've left.
I'm the same way. I hate having notifications on my phone. Notifications on my phone. Like, I have to clear them. So if you text me, I'm going to see you texted me. That got cleared, and then I'm going to forget about it. But emails, I can go back to, though.
I'm glad it's not just me. I feel like sometimes people get upset. They'll either DM me or text me or call me on the phone. I'm like, look, you're going to have to email that, because for sure by the time we hang up this phone or I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm going to forget whatever the thing is you just wrote or said to me. It's got to be an email where I can start or mark that shit unread.
Don't worry, Bob. I will send you an email as soon as we get off about those shirts.
Oh, God, I keep digging them deeper.
I totally envy you, Bob, if you can actually go all the way till the morning before you forget it.
Don't worry about it, Bob. I got you covered on the shirts.
Sometimes.
But here's the thing. I work with computers, okay? So I repair people's computers locally. I do remote support. I do server support. And the thing is, I don't like social media. Ever since it came out, I hate social media. But the problem is, once I started doing a YouTube channel, I found out that if you do stuff on YouTube, if you do stuff on the internet, it doesn't matter what you do, you got to have social media presence no matter what. And I'm like, I don't want to. I hate social media. And, it's just that, now that I'm on all the social media that I need to be, it's just like, hey, you get notifications from literally everybody. And I hate that.
Yeah, I was just reading Gun Doctor TV's comment. I'm like, that would stress me out so bad. I would have to burn my phone or something if I had 20,000 unread emails. I can't do that.
I don't even pay attention to the number of them anymore.
I just hope they're not government emails and he's not deleting them before they say it's okay.
But yeah, how's the audio connection on my end?
It's pretty solid.
No, Joe,
it's better than Bob's video.
Am I still getting weird?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Bob, just turn the video off.
I think you've been weird the whole show.
Yeah.
But you're Bob, so it's okay.
Oh, that's even better.
Holy crap. This is the first time I've gone through StreamYard that it told me I had to either sign in with my YouTube or my Facebook. I was like, I don't even know
that too.
What my profile picture is. No, that's hot. I can dig that. I'll roll with that.
No, that's good. It's good.
Oh,
yeah, honestly, I don't even know what I did to turn that in or turn that on where you have to log in. So
that was different. I haven't had to do that before, and I was like, well, so I'm logging in as CMMG, but a lot of times I try to have some anonymity or separation if I can, because depending on the direction the conversation goes, I have to remember I am representing a company. So what I say I have to keep that in mind. So if I try to separate that a little bit sometimes, then I can sometimes get away with saying things that are more in my mind, if that makes sense.
Oh no, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I mean, I love who I work for, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But you know, I have to keep in mind that I'm speaking on their behalf a lot of times when I'm doing things like this. So there's times people ask me questions, and I'm like, I'm sorry to be dodging this question, but I'm not answering that because you know, that's another thing too. Is I've done so many interviews and stuff over the years because that's just kind of become my position in the company, and I've had so many opportunities too where things have been taken out of context. Like I may have said something in a certain context, and then somebody will pull that quote and insert it somewhere else. Like I did an interview like years ago, like I want to say it may have been 2015 at the NRA annual shows in Indy, and I actually had like an interview with like CNN, and I was doing an interview with them, and then a couple of years later during like the presidential election, they took a quote that I had in like 2015 and used it in like an anti or in like an anti-Hillary something during the election. And I didn't mind, you know, on a personal level that they use it in that way because it worked. But from a business standpoint, you know, I had our PR guys going, "Who did you talk to? When did you say this?" I'm like, "Whoop, pump the brakes. I said this 3 years ago in a totally different conversation." So,
Yeah, that's one thing you never can tell where they're going to pull stuff from or use it. It's like once something's online, it's out there forever. Same type of thing with the media.
yeah, it got to the point now. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, as long as you said it, you just kind of became that, right? So as long as you didn't ask for it, you didn't stand up and say, "I want to do all the talking on the TV," then you can always tell everybody else to go to hell. At least that's the way I figure it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I kind of became the face and the voice of CMMG, so I had to be mindful of all that stuff. But you know, it's gotten to the point now that even like when I do stuff for like local TV or radio or anything of that sort, if I have a camera in my face from somebody else, I have a camera in my face of my own also. So like if later they try to take something out of context or they edit it weird, I'll be like, no. You're going to retract that because I have the full video of what I said and you're using it to twist my words. And I've actually had articles retracted, and I've had news agencies have to turn around and apologize for things because I've called them out on stuff like that.
Good. Hold them accountable.
Yeah. I mean, because accuracy in reporting is very important. I mean, that is what the news is supposed to be. The news is supposed to be there to report the news, not create the news.
You know,
that's literally what I was about to say. That's what the word reporting comes from, is reporting facts of what's going on, and it's done. The news is not even really news anymore. It's all opinion pieces.
Well, here's the thing. I go over a lot of news articles, and the only news that I've seen lately that is anywhere close to, you know, actual news like it's supposed to be is like from the gun sites like Ammo Land, you know, The Truth About Guns, Bearing Arms, you know, those news sites, you know, where it's, you know, it's 2A news or it's gun related news. You know, it seems gun related news is more fact based than actual news is these days. You know, where they actually want to cover the news as it is instead of, you know, as, you know, hey, here's the latest hit piece.
That's because at least I assume somebody's going to check, I guess. Maybe is that integrity or something like that. I don't think the NBCs and the mainstream media of the world, they know that the people that are watching and listening to them and are obeying them, none of them are going to check. None of them care. They just, as long as you tell them whatever they want to hear, that they can pair it out to other people, they aren't going to give a shit. And I assume somebody is going to, maybe that's just how I've been my entire life. I assume somebody is going to call me on my bullshit if I'm not telling the truth.
Well,
yeah, worry. I mean that's what you would think. But that's like what I've said on some of my other shows with some of the topics that we've discussed that common sense common more, and a lot of them character type things that are pretty much straight up, American way of life type of stuff is becoming
It's
more and
gone.
more.
Swampy, you're roboting.
Say, is that
Yeah.
me? Is that him? Because I just assumed.
That's him.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying, Swampy. It's common sense isn't common anymore.
Yeah,
And
I'm
the-
in
and the
a
American way
bad
of life
signal
just
area.
isn't the American way of life anymore. What we were brought up to believe, from like the 50s, the 60s, 70s, now, yeah, all that's racist, or that's nonconformist, so you have to throw that out because wokeism. I'm like, oh my God.
I mean, I
Yeah,
can't
I'm
remember who
actually glad you brought all that up while I was having the technical issues, because that's exactly the point I was trying to get at.
Yeah, I can't remember who the comedian was, but at one point there, they basically was talking about survival of the fittest. They're like, when we were younger, the kid that ate the most marbles didn't grow up to have kids of his own. I mean, it's like
That sounds like George Carlin.
it
That sounds
probably
like
was
George.
George Carlin.
Yeah.
And
But
talking about how they used to swim in the raw sewage and all that other stuff, and that's how they got, good
It's
immune
immunity.
systems and stuff, Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I grew up drinking out of the garden hose,
Yeah.
It was, I mean, you get some antibodies and stuff that way. It's just I mean, what was it? What was the powder that he was building up the immunity to in Princess Bride? It's just like
Iocane.
I was close. I wasn't quite
As
there.
you wish.
Yeah, but it's just you build up tolerances to things, and
Yeah.
it's just unfortunately, the one thing I still haven't built up the tolerance for is all the BS out there today. Though you would think as much as there is, you would build up some bit, but no.
Honestly, the BS that I see on the TV, if I see it, I just turn it off because or I switch the station to a station that isn't BS.
Yeah.
And there are still
Well,
some
it's
out
almost
there,
like
it's just-
you finally
you
get
gotta look for it.
to that little bit of like getting used to it, or tolerance, as you were saying, and then they like up the level of the BS to where
Yeah,
it's like a whole
like-
nother creature now.
you're used to a certain tolerance of stupidity, and then they're like, now let's kick it up to like full gear.
Yeah,
And
they
then
always
you're
see it
like,
as a
oh
challenge.
my God.
It's just
We
like
don't have enough
LSD.
stupid in this
Yeah,
article. So let's add more. It's challenge accepted. Let's add more.
Yep. But yeah, since my internet's kind of going in and out on me here, and I think we pretty much covered all the main topics for tonight, I'll
Yeah.
go around the room and let y'all kind of give y'all's, socials, where let everybody know where to find you and stuff, and we'll wrap up the episode for tonight. And I'll start out with you, Nightstryke, since you didn't get to say a whole lot about your experience from the gathering, since you was another visitor like me instead of a vendor.
I stayed more days than you, and I got to shoot a lot more. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But no, guys, check me out, Nightstryke on YouTube, and also check out guntube.org. So, that's it.
Well, that was short and sweet.
And I'm nothing but short.
Sorry for talking so much, man.
It's
No, it's all good. I had people asking me earlier about headliners and this and that, and I think that you would definitely be considered a headliner. So you're welcome to it, and that's what my show's
I'm
for.
glad you can only see. I'm glad you can only see so far, because I think it's gotten pretty deep in here with that comment. I appreciate it.
And
Who's
yeah,
next?
on
The guy
that,
that's talking now.
yeah,
think we're
I
waiting
was
for
just gonna
Bob.
say on that. How about you go ahead and let folks know where they can find you and all that stuff, as if folks didn't already know.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty easy as long as you can remember the letters in the correct order. So pretty much across the board, all the social medias, website, all that stuff is simply CMMG. So a lot of people will say different things like CCMG, and I have we got a business card right there. I've got a fun Frankenstein build that is a lot of BCM parts. I affectionately call it my BCMMG. But when I start throwing letters out like that, people just get so confused at times. So across all the socials, CMMG, and you can find us.
But
Well,
you
it
know
must
what?
drive the dyslexic folks nuts.
There we go. There we go. Bob, I'm representing right there.
Thanks, man.
There you
Thanks,
go.
Mike. And Mike, is that a sound wave on that framed, what looks like a framed photo up there on the wall behind you, or not?
That
Somebody
is
else had a chat, and they made me curious. It was in a chat like 10 minutes ago, I think.
Yeah, that was actually something my now fiance had made for me. It is my favorite song from start to finish done in a sound wave. That is Metallica's Orion.
Ooh,
Wow.
that's a nice choice.
Cool as
Nice
hell. I'll write that down later. But I want something like that.
I'm a big fan of Metal Militia, though.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So I got to give props out here. My owner's son made this helicopter. This is out of just hundreds of dollars worth and hundreds of actual parts, like maybe out of spec parts from an AR-15.
Ooh.
And he just took and welded all that stuff together. It is
nice.
That was the first piece of art
awesome.
he made. I'm gonna grab it. This thing is heavy. Hold on.
Lift. Use both arms.
So I don't know how well you guys can see this, but
wow.
there's like ejection port covers. There's 22 conversion kit chamber adapters. There's gas blocks. There's barrels. There are bolts. I mean, there is so much stuff in this thing.
That is awesome.
So I watched him make this thing on Instagram. I was following the story of him making this thing on Instagram, and I was just like, it's a little bird. I want this thing. I want it so bad. And his mom got a hold of me at a store I used to work for and said, hey, can I put this on consignment? And I'm like, well, how much you want for it? She gave me the price. I'm like, it's not going on consignment. It's already sold. It's mine. So
That's
this thing
awesome.
weighs like this thing weighs like 30 pounds. No, it weighs like 30 pounds. No, it's literally just a bunch of scrap parts, literally just welded together.
That is awesome. That is real art. That is real art right there.
Yeah, he's made a few of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm happy to display that thing in the background now because that thing is so cool.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm glad you was able to give the story of it on here. And on that note, we'll go to Bob if he's still around and not just floating.
Can you see my video, or am I still a frozen face?
You're a frozen face, but we can
hear you.
Frozen
face. Yeah, we can hear you good.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hey, and it's not the worst frozen face you've had tonight either.
No, it's probably the best. It's probably the best.
It's Pew-tang.com, JSDsupply.com. I wanted to show this sticker and ask Nightstryke if his package came yet.
Oh yeah, no,
I saw a parental advisory sticker there for just a split second.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I got it.
I didn't know if there was one in his in your box or not.
There
Mike.
wasn't a parental advisory. No, I got.
Wasn't there?
No, there was the JSD one, and it was the yellow one with the different colored pistol on it.
They must not have been in yet. I couldn't remember what day in the last week those came in.
Yeah,
yeah, that's it. That's it for me. I'm out.
There you go. Yeah, and on that note, I want to give a big shout out to all y'all out there in the chat, viewers and stuff. Y'all, make the show worth it and stuff, and appreciate y'all being out there and keeping comments going and stuff. Sometimes it's y'all's conversation that's all even more entertaining than ours and the guests we got on here. So big shout out to all the fans and stuff that's out there. Make sure y'all like and subscribe and check us out for next week's episode. We got another group of a good group of guests coming on for next week as well. And on that, we'll go ahead and call it an evening, and y'all be good.
Thanks, everybody.